Hi, this is Leonora from Embody Truth, and today I want to talk to you about love. Love is connection. So I want to talk to you about that in sort of practical terms as a practice that you can do with your meditation. So what we're doing with love as connection is we're moving out of a dualistic way of perceiving and moving into an embodied connection with the direct experience of the present moment as life. So often when we're meditating, what I've noticed for all of us is that there is kind of two forces. There's an inspiring force of being yourself, and that one might contain qualities like openness and curiosity. And then there's another force, and it's kind of the structure that's the ego is endeavoring to maintain its idea of itself. And that's a force of resistance. And that's kind of pulling away from moving into anything that's kind of outside what it knows. So the meeting point of those two is really the unknown. And so when we're meditating, the endeavor is for the meditator to become integrated within the experience and to become one with the experience. And so what tends to be the way, and it's generally unnoticed, is that the meditator is observing the experience and is thus in a dualistic relationship with it and separate from it. And actually that relationship between the observer and what it's observing, it holds an entanglement. So it's like I'm looking at this experience through what I already know. That's the entanglement. So these qualities of, perceiving from a place of not knowing and the practice of not knowing is a whole different topic and something I've shared about in other places. What I want to talk about here is when you're meditating or exploring the felt sense experience, that there tends to be a kind of place that you see from, and it's kind of like there's this two-ness. There's the observer looking at something, and it's really only looking at the surface. It's looking at what it knows and what it sees and what it's willing to experience. Yeah, and there's a quality of avoidance and disconnect in that. And as you go deeper, the system that is the observer can become overwhelmed. And so it's kind of a dance, of discovery to work with that edge, moving outside of what I know and the comfort zone to the exploration of who I really am as the deeper self, the one self, and the unique self. So when I'm working with myself and others, I often say, ground in to this experience. And the metaphor that I like to use is that of like an internet connection. Rather than an internet connection, this is a connection with your soul. And you can kind of make a connection and see something, and then unconsciously kind of pull away. It's like, I've seen it, I know it, I've been there, it's like I'm done. And this is really, really common. In fact, I'd say it's epidemic. That's kind of general. That's how our systems work. And what we're doing here is looking to reverse this trend of separation that the sense of self or the ego self or the observer has, and also looking to discern and clear the entanglement between the observer and what it's observing. And there's many elements to doing that, but the one that I find is so important is just this grounding in, so that when you make a connection to feeling the felt sense of your experience right now, that you remain connected to what you're feeling. It's a dynamic, constantly changing field of awareness. The observer tends to notice something and withdraw. It's kind of like, I see it, I know it, I'm done. And this is not what we're doing. We're actually endeavoring to melt the meditator into its experience of the present moment. And that can be more easily facilitated by this grounding in and stabilizing into a connection that maintains that connection. And that connection is love. It's the willingness unconditionally to be present to what's here. Okay, and it's not a one-time thing and then you're done. It really is a practice. Now, maintaining that connection and grounding in takes us from the surface issue that we may be conscious of and helps us embody into the deeper origin of that issue. The ultimate origin of all of our issues is separation. And so at the same time, we're reversing that habit or trend to disconnect and withdraw from anything that is outside what we know and what we're comfortable with. So this is an engaged, active, dynamic, relational way of journeying in the present moment through the felt sense, where the meditator transforms into something that is open and curious. I hope you find this valuable, and there's other pieces that I've spoken about before on daily practice, and probably will again. If you like my content, please consider subscribing to this channel, and please like, share, and love to hear your comment. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.